There are many superhero movies that were supposed to come out this year, but sadly were delayed due to the global pandemic. Arguably, the one that was the hardest hit was that of The Batman, because this was the latest solo Batman film and one that is set apart from the DCEU, which has angered many fans due to Ben Affleck never getting a true solo Batman film. Thus, there are a lot of expectations behind it. But let's look deep into the movie that we have seen so far and show you the Batman top 7 things we know. Number 7. The plot and story. Like the Aquaman and Wonder Woman solo movies, The Batman is expected to focus on DC Comics' famous Dark Knight while unfolding within, but perhaps less directly connected to the studio's DC Comics cinematic universe. Reeves has described the story he's developing as noir-driven, with Batman investigating a particular case that takes us out into the world of Gotham. It's more Batman in his detective mode than we've seen in the films, Reeves told The Hollywood Reporter in January. The comics have a history of that. He's supposed to be the world's greatest detective, and that's not necessarily been a part of what the movies have been. I'd love this to be one where when we go on that journey of tracking down the criminals and trying to solve a crime. Rumors that the film would adapt the popular Batman Year One story penned by Frank Miller were debunked by Reeves, who said he wouldn't be telling an origin story for the character. In an April conversation with the New York Times, Reeves gave a touch more background on the film, describing it as incredibly personal and using the metaphors of the DC universe. You never know whether the people in charge of those IPs are going to be open to your vision, but if they weren't, I wouldn't have done Batman, he said. I was like, look, there have been some great Batman films and I don't want to just make a Batman film. I want to do something that has some emotional stakes. My ambition is for it to be incredibly personal using the metaphors of that world. In August, co-writer Mattson Tomlin went further into the ethos of the Batman with Den of Geek, saying that the film will explore the soul of Bruce Wayne. I think that Matt Reeves is a filmmaker. If you look at any of his work, whether or not it's Let Me In or Cloverfield or the Planet of the Apes movies, he's always coming from a point of emotion. It's never the big action thing, Tomlin said. It's always, what is this character's soul? I think that really looking at Batman as somebody who has gone through his trauma and then everything that he's doing is then a reaction to that, rather than shy away from that. I think this film leans into that in some very fun and surprising ways. I think that's all I can say without getting yelled at. Number 6. Tones. In a July interview with Collider, the Batman cinematographer Greg Fraser offered some clues about how far the film will go in embracing the Dark Knight's, well, darker side. It's a good question, and it's a question we ask ourselves, he said of the visual tone for the film. There's darkness in the character for sure, and we need to create a mood, which is obvious. It's a Batman film. I don't think it's going to be oppressively dark in terms of visually, because that's not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to have a competition about who can go the darkest of the darkest of the darkest. We're trying to create intrigue. I love the way some of the comics look. You can see relatively quite clearly in those graphic novels. For those who wondered whether the success of Joker could inspire the Batman to go even grimmer and darker than the much maligned Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, this will likely come as welcome news. Exactly which comics inspired Fraser's visual approach to the film remain a mystery, however, though given what we have seen in the trailer, there are a lot of visuals that show a dark and gritty landscape. Number 5. Modern takes. The character Batman has been around since 1939, enduring countless adaptations, reimaginings, and visions of the Caped Crusaders mythos. According to the Batman's Commissioner Gordon Jeffrey Wright, though, this upcoming film will bring that mythos into a new modern era. My take is, the way I explain what we're doing is, like with any film, we're working together to create a mood, to create an idea, a setting, a tone, Wright told The Hollywood Reporter. This is the next evolution since 1939 when these stories began. Now what that means exactly isn't fully clear, considering Matt Reeves' take is expected to feature many classic characters from Catwoman to the Penguin and maintain the same origin story. However, as The Batman is something of a reboot for Warner Brothers after its brief stint with Ben Affleck as Batman in DC's expanded universe, Wright could be simply referring to finding a new independent place in the superhero's history. Wright indicated that one way in which this Batman is distinct from others is in his ride. I read the script for the Batmobile and I was like, yeah, that's it, he said. Bruce Wayne created the most badass muscle car you could imagine, but it's grounded in Gotham. It's grounded in Americana. Number 4. The Penguin. The Batman is going big on some of its casting, which was proven when it was revealed that Colin Farrell would be portraying Oswald Cobblepot, aka the Penguin. Don't expect a big role for Farrell to play in the film though, as the actor himself indicated to GMA News that he doesn't have much to do in the movie. I had only started it and I can't wait to get back, said Farrell. The creation of it, the aesthetic of the character has been fun, and I really am excited to get back and explore it, and I haven't got that much to do. I have a certain amount in the film, I am not all over it by any means, but there are a couple of some tasty scenes I have in it and my creation, and I can't wait to get back. On the Happy Sad Confused podcast, he clarified, I'm only in it for 5 or 6 scenes, so I can't wait to see the film because it won't be ruined by my presence. Really, it's a freebie to me. I'll get a little bit uncomfortable for the fucking 9 minutes I have, and then the rest of it, I cannot wait to see how he, Reeves, brought this world to life. The irony, though, is that despite having a small role in the movie, certain reports are stating that Farrell's Penguin might be getting a TV series set within the realm of the movie on HBO Max. Number 3. Wonderful Toys. Director Matt Reeves revealed the first look at the new Batmobile in March of 2020 via a series of photos posted on Twitter. The version of the iconic Batmobile making its debut in The Batman looks to be more grounded spin on the car than previous films have offered, looking more like a souped-up muscle car than the military transport or futuristic jet car of past films. In February, a stunt actor was seen donning the new Batsuit during filming in Glasgow, Scotland. Director Matt Reeves has stated that this upcoming take on the Caped Crusader would be more noir, and if the suit is any indication, things are getting a little dark around here. Number 2. Supporting Cast. Warner Bros. Pictures released the official cast list for The Batman in January of 2020, confirming the characters that will be played by each of the film's supporting cast members. As initially reported by The Wrap, Andy Serkis will play Bruce Wayne's butler and confidant Alfred Pennyworth. Although Serkis is best known for his performance capture work, including a memorable portrayal of the ape revolutionary Caesar in the most recent Planet of the Apes trilogy, he has delivered some celebrated on-camera performances in recent years, including a memorable supporting role in the Marvel Studios' Black Panther. Reeves directed Serkis in the final 2 Planet of the Apes films. And joining him will be Paul Dano, star of Little Miss Sunshine, There Will Be Blood, and Escape at Dannemora. Dano will portray Edward Nashton, the brilliant villain known as the Riddler. In October of 2019, X-Men The First Class and Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald actress Zoe Kravitz was cast as Selina Kyle in The Batman. As fans of The Dark Knight know all too well, Selina is the civilian alter ego of Catwoman, the notorious Gotham burglar who has been an ally, enemy, and romantic partner of Batman over the years. So thus, a very loaded cast and more are in the film as well. Number 1. DC Fandom. The first true trailer for The Batman was shown at the first DC Fandom in 2020, and on the 16th, the next DC Fandom will arrive with a promised look at The Batman. So what exactly will we see there? Well, it's hard to say, but a new trailer is more than probable given that The Batman is set to arrive in theaters on March 4th. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at The Batman and how everything is likely to go in the film? Are you intrigued in regards to how things are shaping up so far? Are you hoping to get another look at the film when DC Fandom comes around? Will you be seeing it when it arrives next year? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time on the channel.